Good morning, Bible Center. Are there some things that matter to you more than other things? In a season like this, I would imagine you, like me, are finding out which things really do matter. In Mark 12, Jesus is having a conversation with some people about what matters most. One of the teachers of the law came and heard them debating. Noticing that Jesus had given them a good answer, he asked him, "Of all the commandments, which is the most important?" I probably would have said something like, all of them are the most important. Jesus didn't say that. He actually picked two. The most important one, answered Jesus, is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no greater commandment than these. It's rightly been said that all the other commandments seem to extend from these two. When Jesus says in John 14 that if you love me, you will keep my commandments, he's basically saying this is a way that you love God more. He's indicating to us that there is such a thing as truth, which is a tough thing to wrestle with in our world, and that he, as creator of our world, gets to define truth. What is good and what is not, what is helpful and what is not, what is right and what is not. So to follow this command to love the Lord our God with all of us means that I bow my will to what he has defined as truth. When my opinion doesn't line up with God's opinion, I'm the one who changes. I realize that I don't know everything and am more and more willing to live in submission to God and to his word. As we learn more about what God has to say, it should result in us living more the way God has designed us to live. And it's interesting that the number one commandment dealing with our interaction with people is love your neighbor as yourself. All throughout the scriptures, God continues to define neighbor for us. When he says, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, he's essentially defining neighbor. There's a real sense in our society today that when I reach a point with you where I disagree with what you are doing or how you are doing it or the ideals that you have that inform your opinions or actions, that my only recourse is to separate from you. This is so backwards to what Jesus has told us in this commandment. Jesus indicates that loving our neighbors causes us to lean in with people we disagree with, not lean away. But it happens in our politics as we let talking heads tell us how we should think about people or label people. It happens in our churches as we run up against differences in preferences. It happens all over the place in our lives. Division and separation have become a go-to response. Here in particular, we seem to even go a step further, and not only do we feel the need to separate when someone disagrees with something we think, but we also wish ill on them. We want them to fail, to somehow prove that we were right in some way. We want to throw stones to knock them down because in some way their failure makes us feel better. This is a massive indicator of our hearts. It shows that we have a lot of work to do when it comes to obeying what Jesus has said about loving our neighbors. He's defined neighbors as people that live next to us, on our street, to people in our cities, to people that we would call enemies. Here at Bible Center, we like to call these the marks of a disciple. A person who is following Jesus will spend a lifetime growing to love God more, love each other more, and love our neighbors more. Let's not waste the time we have during this pandemic to grow more loving. This world, our city, can change through this time as Jesus people lean in to love. You know, music is one of the things that helps cement truth for me and motivates me toward change. This song is one of my favorites. May it encourage your soul this morning.
Of dirt and grace, silhouettes and reflections, His holy flame beneath our skin. Shadows and portraits, empires of light and clay, images of a maker, sinners cold out essays beneath our skin. Upon your